Today I'm creating a beautiful and joyful bridal bouquet, combining sunny yellow roses with crisp white blooms, delicate lilac, vibrant fuchsia and fresh greenery. The result is wonderfully romantic, full of colour, texture and movement, perfect for a bride looking for something elegant, fresh and a little different. Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to create a beautiful DIY hand-tied wedding bouquet using flowers I've picked up from the supermarket. So first of all, I'm going to show you just what you'll need to create this beautiful DIY bridal bouquet. So first things first, you're going to need your selection of flowers. Now here's some that I picked up earlier from the supermarket. These are from Tesco. I got this already pre-made bouquet which was £10, then 2 bunches of gypsophila which was 85p, they were reduced, and then some yellow roses with little pops of colour as well. So I just love these colours and I thought they would be fit for any beautiful bridal bouquet. Also, you're going to need some really good floristry scissors and some ribbon to tie around the handle of your bouquet. So first things first, we're going to prepare the flowers. Now the way I do this is just open up all of the bunches and lay them out in nice organised neat piles on my desk or wherever I'm working in front of me so I can see what we have to work with. So as you can see, I've now organised my flowers into nice neat piles in their different varieties. So I'm going to just share with you what we have to create this bouquet today. So we've got some of these white snapdragons, which are absolutely beautiful and perfect for a bridal bouquet. We then have a few bunches of feverfew daisies, and they'll be really good to fill in any spaces. We then have some white chrysanthemums, which are so beautiful and frilly looking. We then have a beautiful lily, which is going to be gorgeous when it opens up. After that, we have our gypsophila. Then we've got some beautiful fuchsia carnations. Then we've got some gorgeous lilac chrysanthemums, and finally some joyful yellow roses. So first things first, we're going to be preparing our flowers. Now the way we're going to do this is strip off any sort of messy looking leaves that you don't want showing on your beautiful bouquet, and any things like dead flower heads which you would not want to be showing on your gorgeous bouquet. I'm beginning by preparing each of the flowers and removing the leaves from the lower sections of the stems. As this is a hand-tied bridal bouquet, I want the stems to remain lovely and clean below the tying point so they can be held comfortably and finished neatly. I'm being particularly careful with more delicate flowers as their finer stems can be easily damaged. Taking a little time with the preparation now makes a real difference later, allowing me to concentrate fully on the shape, colour and placement of the flowers as the bouquet comes together. Now I'm preparing the carnations, and I'm going to gently open up the flower heads to give them a fuller, more luxurious appearance. Carnations naturally have beautifully ruffled petals, but sometimes the outer petals can sit quite tightly together. Using clean hands, I carefully work around the outside of the flower head, gently loosening the petals rather than pulling them. I start with the outer layers and gradually work towards the centre, taking care not to damage the delicate edges. This simple little technique can make a remarkable difference. It gives the carnations so much more volume and allows them to sit beautifully within the bouquet. So all of my flowers are now prepared, the stems are nice and clean and they're ready to use in the bouquet. But first of all, before I do that, I'm going to show you how to reflex some roses, and that means when you bend the petals back and it gives it a really gorgeous frilly look. This is really popular for bridal bouquets as it just gives it a really lush, nice full frilly effect. Now I'm reflexing some of the yellow roses, which means gently folding the outer petals back to create a wider, more open flower. This gives the roses a beautiful, almost garden rose appearance and adds movement and variety to the bouquet. My top tip is to work slowly and gently around the outer petals, easing them back one at a time rather than forcing them. If a petal feels resistant, leave it rather than risking damage. A lovely fact about yellow roses is that they have traditionally been associated with friendship, happiness, and warm affection. That makes them especially fitting for a joyful bridal bouquet celebrating not only romantic love but also the friendship and happiness surrounding the bride on her special day. Now we can begin bringing the bouquet together. This is the part I particularly enjoy because we can start to see the colours, textures, and personality of the design coming to life. For anyone new to floristry, this is a hand-tied spiral bouquet. The principle is actually much simpler than it might look. The stems are placed at an angle, all following the same direction, creating a spiral underneath the flowers. This allows the bouquet to sit naturally in your hand while giving you much greater control over the shape. I'm starting with a strong central flower and then gradually building around it. As I add each stem, I'm placing it at an angle rather than straight up and down. I'm keeping the point where all of the stems meet in roughly the same position while allowing the flower heads to spread naturally above it. A useful beginner's tip is not to grip the stems too tightly. Hold the bouquet gently but securely because if you squeeze too firmly, it becomes much harder to add and reposition your flowers. Think of your hand as a little cradle for the bouquet. I'm now alternating the different flowers as I work. I don't want all of the yellow roses together or all of the white flowers together because distributing the colours gives the bouquet a much more balanced appearance. I'm also varying the height slightly, which helps to create movement and stops the bouquet from looking too uniform. The yellow roses are giving us our main focal colour, while the white carnations, chrysanthemums and snapdragons provide a lovely freshness. The lilac chrysanthemums and fuchsia carnations bring those stronger pops of colour, and the feverfew and gypsophila add a much softer, delicate texture. When you're making a bouquet yourself, it can be tempting to keep adding flowers because you think that more must mean better. But one of the most important floristry lessons is to stop occasionally and look at the design as a whole. Step back, turn the bouquet, and look at it from different angles. This makes it much easier to spot gaps, heavy areas, or flowers that are competing for attention. I'm also making sure that the stems remain in that spiral formation underneath the bouquet. You can actually feel this as you work. If the stems start crossing randomly or the bouquet begins to feel awkward in your hand, it's usually a sign that one of your stems has been placed in the wrong direction. Simply remove it and try again. There's no need to force it. Here's another useful tip for beginners. Keep turning your bouquet as you work. Don't simply build the front and then try to connect the back afterwards. By rotating the bouquet regularly, you can see how each new flower affects the balance from every direction. You can think of it almost like building a little 3D picture. Every flower needs to have its own place, but it also needs to work with the flowers around it. And finally, I'm checking that my focal flowers are still visible. The yellow roses should catch the eye first, with the surrounding colours supporting them rather than hiding them. Once I'm happy with the placement, I can gently adjust individual stems before securing the bouquet. This is where the patience really pays off. A few small movements can make a surprisingly big difference to the finished design. So, if you're trying a spiral hand-tied bouquet for the first time, don't worry about making it perfect straight away. Concentrate on keeping your stems moving in the same direction, work slowly, keep turning the bouquet, and most importantly, enjoy the process. With a little practice, your hands will begin to remember the technique and the spiral will become second nature. Okay, so there is, you can see the clear spiral which moves around like so, and you can see I was just turning my arm there, and that helps to keep the spiral in. I really love that this has created such a gorgeous, lush, full bouquet. It looks really unique and individual, and the gypsophila fills it out super nicely. So before we tie this, you can just go through and sort of loosely hold the flowers, and then you can kind of pull out any that might have sort of sunk down a little bit. So I want the lily to look a little bit higher. I also want to pull out these snapdragons just a little bit to give it that whimsical feel. Same with some of the roses, they've got a little bit trapped, so I'm just going to pull those up and just adjust any of the flowers that you really kind of want to be stand out flowers in your arrangement. So just doing the same. Once I've done that and I'm happy with it, then I'm going to show you how you tie it. So again, just a few more adjustments, just trying to bring out any that have got a little bit lost within some of the other flowers. But just take your time with this. Just keep looking, keep checking, and making sure that you're happy with the bouquet. Okay, so I'm really happy with my bouquet now, so I'm going to show you how you tie your design together using the ribbon. I've decided to use this nice sort of pinky mauve ribbon just to tie in with those nice carnations there. That is about the same colour, so I think that's going to look really, really pretty. Now that I'm happy with the shape of the bouquet, I'm going to place it gently onto the table so that I can secure the stems neatly and safely. This also gives me both hands free to work with the ribbon. I'm locating the binding point where all of the stems come together. This is the point I want to secure, as it will hold the spiral shape that we have carefully created. I'm taking my ribbon and wrapping it firmly around the binding point 2 to 3 times. I'm keeping the wraps close together and making sure the ribbon lies flat and neat against the stems. Once the ribbon is in position, I'm tying a firm double knot and bow to secure everything. It's important this is secure but not pulled so tightly that it damages or crushes the stems. Finally, I'm trimming the ribbon ends diagonally. This small detail gives the bouquet a much cleaner, more professional finish. Okay, so we have now tied our bouquet with the ribbon. For a little bit of extra security, you could tie the flowers first with twine and then pop the ribbon on top, except I don't have any twine with me, so we're just working with the ribbon today. Now, as you can see, it still looks really messy down here because we've still to chop the stems. So you kind of want to decide how long you want to leave your bouquet, but generally you want your stems just to be a sort of 1/3 of the length of the entire bouquet. So there it is, probably about 1/3, 2/3, and then so you kind of want to chop them around there just so it balances out the bouquet. So I'm just going to keep that kind of guide in my head. There's actually a stem that reaches that point, so I'm going to use that as a guide. Then I'm going to, now with a bridal bouquet, sometimes it doesn't really matter about chopping them at a 45-degree angle. It actually maybe looks neater if you just chop them straight across. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take my nice scissors and just start chopping those, and just taking my time making sure that they look nice and equal and even, because you want it to look the best it possibly can. And then just going to continue doing the same to the rest of the flowers, and you can see it's already starting to come together and looking nice and neat. Okay, so I've just actually experimented with that. So I've chopped all my stems and I've tied my ribbon just a little bit tighter to bring them in slightly. I've decided to actually take the bow out and leave the ribbon just kind of loose, because I think that it kind of gives it a bit of a romantic feel. So here you can see the ribbon should be at the tying point where the bride is going to be holding the bouquet. So that's nice and neat, we can see, and it looks lovely and neat at the bottom. So there we go. I'm actually going to show you how this would look now. I've got a little white dress which will look super cute, so I'm going to style it so you can see what it would look like as a bridal bouquet. And here's our finished bridal bouquet, complete with a little nod to the wonderful style of the 1960s. I've brought together cheerful yellow roses, crisp white blooms, lilac and vibrant fuchsia to create something playful, elegant and full of personality. I love the optimism of the 1960s fashion and design, and I wanted to capture a little of that spirit in this bouquet while keeping it completely wearable for a modern bride. Thank you so much for joining me and watching the bouquet come together. If you've enjoyed the tutorial, please give the video a like, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more floral designs and inspiration.